men and women in how they exercise forgiveness?
I think that we like to do things on gender lines, and in my experience, it's much more personality styles than gender. I think that, we have different styles, and I think we have different expectations. And so sometimes people have expectations that they'll allow one gender, it's not men or women, one gender is allowed to do something, another gender is not allowed to do something, or they're just forgiven more easily. Well, I understand that because you were working, you were this, you were that. But I think it's much more about that. If you say, in general, and so emotional conflicts are the ones that really generate feelings. That includes someone's spouse. There's a lot of emotion there. There's usually a lot of conflict. There's a lot of togetherness. What happens is that, in general, we get socialized in different ways. And a conflict I hear all the time in couples therapy is, I want him to talk more about feelings. I want him to be able to anticipate what I need. And someone else is saying, I think I've shown you that I care, and I've done these things to help you, and I don't know why I have to talk about it, and I can't read your mind. That's an overgeneralization, but it's an awfully common pattern. And so there's some gender things like that, but I think with conflict, it's much more about who the two people are and what they've brought to it.
Do some of us more easily forgive than others?
Oh, absolutely. And that goes along with your style. So these unstable introverts that are tremendous grudge holders, that's what comes natural. And the natural reaction of someone who has that personality style is to hold a grudge. The natural reaction of someone who's extrovert is to forgive, perhaps more easily, but then be quickly onto something else. So it's that balance of, can you maintain? Do you maintain emotions? So there, the challenge, if you're in a relationship with someone like that, is to be frustrated that they're onto the next thing, onto the next thing, onto the next thing.
Are many of us hybrids of introverts and extroverts?
Almost everyone is what we call an ambivert, meaning that they're a little this, they're a little that. It's really when you're at the extremes, either extremely introverted or extremely extroverted, that you get into trouble. So my emotions shift so quickly that you can't keep up with me is problematic, in the same way that I can't let go of anything negative and I hold on to it forever. That's problematic too. So most of us happily are in the middle, and it's really the situation. So we really get hung up about the things where it feels like more of a betrayal, either because of what was done or who did it, or that it's the fifth time they've done it. It's like, we've been through this and I can't believe you've done it again. Didn't you understand the first 4 times how upsetting it was?
How do we go through the process of forgiveness after someone has died?
Well, then I think you still have the same process, because the process can go on where you essentially say, this is what happened. I've come to terms with what happened, and I'm going to let go of the negative emotions. That you don't really need the other person to do. Sometimes if you can have a conversation, an understanding of their motivations, it facilitates it, but you don't really need the other person for that. And that's actually what happens when someone's had something horrible happen, say childhood abuse, something that's really in many ways unforgivable. They're working to say, I'm now coming to appreciate my understanding of this, and what I'm going to work on is not having all these negative emotions surrounding it. And so I think that's what happens. And sometimes, there are other things that people have done, or they feel like something less dramatic, where you could imagine reconciling, that you just have to say, well, I want to think differently. With grief, we have this intense negative period where we're just sad and lost. What you hope to get to the point is that you can think about the person with kindness and fondness, and think about the times that were better. And so I think in that instance, your goal would be to say, this happened, I've gotten past it, so now I'm going to put my energy, when I think of that person, and thinking about some of the really positive experiences we had together, or the things we enjoyed together. No one has all these strong emotions for people they barely know. They're for the people that are important to them. So there's plenty of other things to be included in memories if you're able to achieve forgiveness.
Why is it important to practice forgiveness?
Certainly the healthiest thing is to forgive. There are all these studies now that are demonstrating that you're going to have lower blood pressure and better blood flow and all these different things. So it's healthier to forgive. I think that it would be better if people could view forgiveness as something they're doing for themselves. again, it's not absolution. I think they get hung up on saying, if I forgive you, somehow I've forgotten or you're not in trouble or something else. Forgiveness is something different, which is saying, I am not going to have these negative emotions consume me. That's how I view it. And so forgiveness really isn't about as much of the other person as it is your own process of saying, I'm moving forward.